the flashcards for each of the eduhub themes. The example I'm going to use here now is the pirate one. So that's the back of the cover. It gives you a rough overall idea of the words that's in them. For each of the words, I'll just zoom in closer for a few of them now. For each of them, you can see that there's adjectives in most of the words, and also, where possible, real pictures have been used, okay? They're also of kind of a matte finish, so that when they're stuck up on your wall, wherever your Aistear section is going to be, you won't have a shine of them, and they're A4 size and they're cardboard as well. So a few examples here. You see a daring seaman, some precious jewels, vicious pirates, treacherous ocean, valuable treasure, I think I'm skipping some here, fierce pirate crew, concealed treasure chest, definitely skipping 2 or 3 at a time, talkative pirate, hooked nose, scarred cheeks, and you get the idea, okay? So again, most of the time using adjectives, and the idea for that is that you are trying to encourage the children to use adjectives from a young age, because again, when they do move on to writing, this will be transferred onto their writing. So again, instead of talking about a parrot, it's a talkative parrot. Instead of talking about a pirate, it's a vicious pirate. So it's quite simple when you're using the vocabulary. We're not expecting the children to read the words. We're not expecting them to write them. It's just when you use them as a teacher, when you have it displayed, when you use it, the children will begin to use it. So it's just beneficial for them. So it is useful in Aistear where we are teaching them, just say we're doing the pirate theme and we're trying to encourage them to use new vocabulary, then this is another aspect that we can be adding in there to Aistear. Then following on then from the flashcards, I'm just also going to look at the big book, okay? So there's your big book, and it's hardback, and again it's based on Nibbler. This is where he's introduced now, Nibbler, and his little village of Sandy Cove, okay? So in the hardback book, if I flick through some pages, you will see the lovely illustrations done by Ailsa Williams, a fantastic illustrator. And also in the writing, if I zoom in, I'm really crooked here, whoops, but you can see some words are slightly darker. And again, daring seaman, treacherous ocean, they were the words of the day that you were teaching the pupils prior to beginning Aistear. So again, with Aistear, you've got a little bit of preparation beforehand, which would be teaching the vocabulary. Probably take 2 weeks, okay, to go through the words with them, and then you are ready to move on to your big book, where the children will hear the vocabulary, and there's lots of games suggested as well in the back of the book to encourage the children, like where they hear the words or when they hear the words of the day. It also goes through what you can do as a teacher, prior reading, during reading, questioning about stories, general questions, assessment questions. It's linked into the new primary language curriculum there as well for the English strand, and also for Irish for both sections of language. Subsequent retellings, which you can be looking at sound patterns and sight vocabulary, overused vocabulary, etc. And they also, the thing about this book, a big book as well, especially with our new language curriculum, it's not just written in English. There's also a line for each illustration in the book that is in Irish, okay? So why that is beneficial is that as the children get to know this story of Nibbler and Blackjack McGee, then, and they know it in English, then when you go back to retell it, and you're using the Irish version, they can have a general idea, you know, follow the story, but yet hear the Irish language is a nice way to be introduced to it. Now the final element then of the big book is the maths elements. So the illustrations, in each illustration there is different opportunities for maths. These will also be on the USB card that I mentioned earlier, so they can be up in your interactive board, or they can put under a visualizer, or again left on a table for children to look at. So just having an example of this picture here, I could ask the children, can you find any sets of 3? So again, we're looking for 3. So just leave it a minute there so you can have a look. So again, here you can see we've got 3 apples. We've got 3 seagulls in the picture. Oh, he's hiding down here. 1, 2, 3. The 3 lamps over here. So there's lots of different elements of 3 bars in all the different windows. There's other questions then, again, talking about pattern. If you're looking at what the pirates is wearing, and every illustration has different questions. So the questions, maths questions, are around counting from 1 to 5, and even further than that as well, 1 to 10, sets of 2s, 3s and 4s, looking at 2D shapes, and even to 3D shapes is there as well, and pattern and data, how you can gather data. So all in all, basically, when you're introducing your Aistear here, you've got your 15 words of the day, and you go through that prior to beginning Aistear with the pupils. Then you introduce them to Nibbler and Sandy Shore through your book, and they can spot their words of the day that they have recently learned. In the illustrations, you've got some mathematical discussion, and also the book can be read then in Irish as well. So that's just the different ways that you can use the book. But again, there's a lot of information at the back of this book that teachers can use over and over again. And again, that's 8 themes, and every 8 themes has a book like that and flashcards like that. And then the pupils then will move on to the further elements of Aistear.